Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today, as today's video is really going to bring chills down your spines. The macro is changing. Fed rate cuts confirmed. 25 basis points lowered. Monetary policy is being adapted in real time to create the perfect environment for our altcoin season. And in the midst of all of this, XRP is flashing bullish signals. Evernorth's $1 billion accumulation and record exchange outflows are fueling expectations of a surge towards $3 for XRP this November, and likely higher, my friends. XRP is preparing for a bullish Q4. Ladies and gentlemen, new all-time highs are just on the horizon. But in the meantime, the inevitable new all-time highs, of course, are filled with rumors that XRP is being totally replaced. Solana took a jab at XRP after the announcement that Western Union is going to be partnered with them. XRP has long marketed itself as a bridge currency. And here, Solana says there is no bridge currency. There are stablecoins on Solana, a clear jab in XRP's direction. But what a lot of people don't know is that Solana had to write a $25 million check with $25 million in liquidity stimulus for a 6-month exclusive. And this is tempting for legacy organizations to de-risk their proof of concept with a big check. But they'll regret it eventually when their chosen blockchain goes down and millions of payments are offline, as Solana tends to pause due to their centralized nature. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are trying to make this a writing on the wall moment for XRP, when in reality, Solana gaining a partnership with Western Union is not negative news for XRP, but simply a bullish piece of news for Solana. This does not have to mean that XRP is negative. This is not bad news for XRP. Why are people trying to make a good piece of news for Solana a negative piece of news for XRP? I will never understand. All tides will rise in crypto. Every single crypto having its own version of success is great for the overall crypto space. I'm bullish for every coin overall as a whole, and I'm tired of the crypto tribalism. At the end of the day, with Bitcoin going higher, XRP going higher, ETFs going live, laws being passed, Solana getting Western Union, all these things will be good for crypto. And I can't stress that enough. We all have to be aware of this. And we all have to see the writing on the wall. The writing on the wall, my friends, is that altcoin season is at our doorstep. Only 3 MACD crosses have occurred in 8 years, and this is where the quiet turns into chaos. This is before the noise, before the hype. Retail won't believe it until it's too late, but this is where you make millions. It's by investing at rock bottom levels right before the pivot in the market. Ladies and gentlemen, history doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. There's a bullish move on the horizon for Bitcoin that'll push more money into alts, especially like XRP. Remember, XRP ETF approvals are on standby during these government shutdowns and are likely to still occur. And you guys saw the gold pivot in 2020 after COVID. There's a gold to Bitcoin pivot happening right now. This is something you all need to be made aware of. And I can't stress that enough. Now, one of the biggest conspiracies in the XRP space has been proven to be a reality. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant because I'm so tired of people dismissing ideas made by educated people that make sense, actually, just because there's no quote-unquote evidence to prove it. You see, there was this thing called the pre-allocation theory where Ripple would sell the rights to the escrowed XRPs to different companies, maybe government entities, things like that. And David Schwartz here on Twitter confirmed Ripple could sell the right to receive the tokens released from escrow, or even sell the accounts that escrow complete into. But the XRP still can't circulate until their release dates. That is the pre-allocation theory confirmed by the former Ripple CTO. And that's a lot of indication for people in the XRP army that we're just trying to talk and see what possibilities could arise. I'm done keeping my mouth shut to cater to quote-unquote fact-based researchers, because a lot of the time catering to these people limits what's actually going to happen in the future. Something can be true without necessarily being confirmed, and we should all be allowed to talk about it, because when things like this happen, you have to wonder what else is in the works. Now, my friends, with that being said, there's another piece of speculation that's been circulating in the XRP army recently because of a Newsmax segment. It's about potentially being able to pay back the national debt with the price appreciation of coins like XRP. And I want you all to take a listen, because one day this might be a reality.
National debt, $348, would have purchased 1.7% of the total supply of Bitcoin at the time, and today would wipe our balance sheet clean. Imagine they'd done that for Social Security too. Because crypto is worth what people think it's worth, simply because people are buying it, and like a Prada bag that costs $50 to make and sells for $5,000, supply and demand. Could the government theoretically, I don't know, take 1/5 of our annual tax revenue, which is about $1 trillion, and put it into an emerging cryptocurrency like, I don't know, XRP, currently trading around $2.50? That would explode the value of that coin. Right now, the total market cap of XRP is $144 billion in total circulation. This would multiply its value by a factor of 8, essentially returning the government $8 trillion overnight. Want to get aggressive, they could dump it, crash the market, buy it right back, do it all over again. Pay off the national debt by Saturday. You see, the government can't control crypto like it controls banks and the bogus Federal Reserve printing money out of thin air. Ronald Reagan famously said, that the government operates very simply. If it moves, regulate it. If it stops moving, subsidize it. If you can't do either, ban it. He didn't know about blockchain. Reagan didn't know about the fourth option. Become what you seek to control. The government's only option to actually have any seat at the table in any type of control over crypto is to participate in it. If you own it, that's great for you. It's going to be worth a ton. After all, we can just print money, buy crypto with it. That's why crypto's here to stay. It's the answer to make sure that even if we do lose a tooth on the zipper again, it doesn't matter. But more importantly, the value of that seamless zipper could be the trick to wipe out the country's national debt. Print money, devalue the dollar, explode crypto investments, sell it, wipe out the national debt, replenish the national gold reserves, fund Social Security, rapid deflation, and reset the system to before the Federal Reserve ever left the gold standard.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what an interesting scenario that would be. I think they're giving you a little hint as to how important this market will be one day. But it's also very true. As M2 increases, as inflation increases, as the supply of money increases, as the Fed cuts rates to make money cheaper, crypto assets will gain value because of their stable supply. Crypto is deflationary. There are a lot of coins where their supply decreases due to usage. XRP is one of them, by the way. I don't know if a lot of you knew that, but that's a reality. And that's something you cannot ignore. In this Ripple Swell conference, XRP and Ripple's yearly conference, we have powerhouses like BlackRock, JP Morgan, the NASDAQ, Citigroup, and more flying in just for this. CME Group, Fidelity, Bank of New York Mellon, Bloomberg, and others. I wonder why. They're not doing it by accident. They know exactly where they need to be to talk about all the money. Now, my friends, something I want to address in the community is BC Backer and his recent analysis about XRP. I remember there was a moment where he had stated he's going to take profits from his XRP because he saw something on the charts that was very concerning, and I've never seen a man receive so much backlash on Twitter for posting charts and his honest perspective. Then what happens? October 10th occurred. Mass liquidations everywhere, mass market crash everywhere, and man, did the blockchain backer have your backs. Despite all the criticism he took publicly, he was willing to do it because he believed it was the truth. To no reward other than being vindicated with that becoming a reality. And here again, he's giving you some analysis that all of you should just take into account in your investing thesis. You see, me, I'm a guy that I like reading bearish charts, bearish analysis, bullish charts, bullish analysis, and everything in between. Just because it helps paint a story and a picture of the entirety of people's perspectives in the market. But regardless of what BC Backer thinks, or your favorite chart analyst thinks, or some random dude on Twitter thinks, my investing thesis is I have XRP for the long term because I think we're going to the fucking moon. And I'm not going to make any micro sells here or trading sells there with it. I'm going to hold it until my price targets are achieved. Because I'm a long-term investor, and I chose to be that from the beginning, with the potential of swing trading after certain price levels get achieved. I like smaller cap altcoins as well, and I like the idea of rotating profits into coins that haven't appreciated in value yet. However, it's important to take it all in objectively. Take all of it in, because you never know what's on the other side. I'm bullish on this market and I believe in an altcoin season. But that doesn't mean we can't see little crashes here and there to help dissuade you from generational wealth. Long story short, guys, regardless of anything, we saw an HBAR ETF be confirmed. And HBAR is the first non-Ethereum altcoin that is live with an ETF. We have Bitcoin and ETH ETFs. HBAR is on the NASDAQ. This during a government shutdown. And I think this just goes to show that regardless of a government shutdown, XRP ETFs can be approved. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting on it. And I promise you, when ETFs go live, the floodgates for XRP will open. And we will become the new 1%. Now, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, to cap off this video for today, NBA superstar Tristan Thompson and top executives have been discussing why athletes are now investing in Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, and crypto as a whole. Many athletes are putting 5% of their net worth into crypto. And there's a reason why. It's because it's that time in the market. It's time to stay bullish and understand where we're about to fucking go. And that's into the stratosphere. That's why I highly recommend you get your offline hardware wallets in the Decent wallet. It is my favorite crypto wallet on the planet due to the fact that you haven't heard anything negative from it yet. I like its heightened sense of security and its diversity in the coins it allows you to hold. Stop taking your security for granted. I don't trust the Ledger wallets. Exodus wallets have had the most hacks I've seen in the crypto space. You just saw someone lose millions from the Elapol hack. And yet Decent stays as my favorite crypto wallet for a reason. I never recommended any shit exchanges to any of you, nor shit wallets to any of you. So I'd recommend you get your decent wallets down in the description below. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
So many teammates, former teammates, have called me literally for the last 6 to 8 months, asking me for this information, asking like, hey, I want to get into crypto. I have this extra liquidity. I have this money. I want it to work and do something, because I don't truly believe where it's sitting right now is actually giving me the best returns or the best upside. So what I say to guys is, the advice that I'm gonna give a rookie is totally different than a guy I'm gonna give 10 years plus in the leagues, right? So for instance, with a rookie, right? You're on a rookie contract. Of course, you're gonna have to, figure out, what's your overhead gonna look like. But what I say for the rookies and the young guys, it's the money that you would spend for miscellaneous and leisure, allocate some of that money to that, right? So if out of your total contract or your biweekly paycheck, you set aside 10% of that for miscellaneous and leisure exposure. Take 5%, take half of that, and go open yourself a wallet and go do your deep dive, whether it's buying ETH, whether it's buying Bitcoin, whether it's buying Solana, XRP. Do the education research and just save that money that you would spend at the nightclub, maybe a couple nights instead of going to the nightclub, you're buying, a digital asset, right? Use that to start building up your honeycomb savings where you're in full control, where no one's getting a fee, no one's getting a cut, and you're basically your own CEO. And I think when I tell guys that, they feel that motivation, because I think more than anything else, athletes want to start feeling like their own boss. That's why if you see like LeBron, myself, Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Magic Johnson, right? We've all had this notion and this motivation to